match is now officially a Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
I can see my fantasy, I'm so consumed in bed. What I see takes over me, I'm blind beyond repair.
He just fucking did. He's just gone.
Gone like the wind. Gone like that intro is going to be in 2 weeks.
That intro, it is the last time that intro is ever being played. Very sorry. We will no longer be using Maven's theme since he is making a return to professional wrestling.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maven's making a return. We found better entrance music or theme music that you guys will see in a couple weeks. We have a show coming up this Saturday, but other than that, we're gone for 2 weeks after this. We'll be back on the 15th.
The actual podcast itself is gone for a couple weeks. So,
all right. Well, let's just get this gravy.
Awesome.
Let's just get this gravy train rolling. My name's Quentin Davis. You can find me at PK Batman on Twitter. To my right.
I'm Ethan. You can find me at Jensen Collins 3 on Twitter or in a sweltering attic.
Hi, I'm the boss. You can find me at the 24 Karat Lion, better known as Jeremiah Goldmain.
And I am the tech advisor, the tech intern, the guy you never see, Trevor Davis at DJ T-Rev 24.
This modest motherfucker. This is Big Dick T-Rev.
I knew that was coming.
He handles the audio on all of our live streams.
A year to the day. The funniest segment on this show's history. We bring them back.
It is so big that MPW had to change their location in order to accommodate the fact that Trevor's dick wouldn't get up the stairs at the Downriver Performing Arts Center. No, it's at Kudos Tap Room in Taylor, Michigan.
We're on a Forklift Pod on Twitter, on a Forklift Wrestling Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music, on a Forklift Wrestling Pod on Twitch, and Thursdays at 9 p.m. on UPN right after Charmed.
Are those snow babies behind you?
I think those are Precious Moments.
Yes. There we go. Yeah.
So our mother, our fucking cunt of a mother had an obsession with Precious Moments, and she thought they were appropriate gifts for everyone. So bless my grandmother's heart, even after the divorce, keeping those things displayed because Precious Moments are uglier than sin.
Oh, I thought she was trying to give you the precious moments she never built with her actual love.
I knew that was coming. Damn! I was thinking the same thing. Like, aren't the precious moments for people that lack the ability to give those moments, so they buy a stupid little angel baby doing it? Yeah.
Yep.
That was my mother for you.
In the next couple of weeks, they'll be going into a box. Never be seen again.
Hi, Brie. Our champion is in the house.
Yes, she is. Gentlemen,
yeah.
Rather large weekend happened in professional wrestling, considering
almost as large as Trevor's dick.
Considering we are somewhat of a wrestling podcast, both mainstream companies in the United States held pay-per-views. One was in the United States, one was not. There she goes. Braggadocious Bree Stout is what that
she deserves to be braggadocious.
I agree with that.
Beating Jeremiah Goldmain for a championship.
Shut up.
It was all Cody. It was all Cody.
The greatest performance in 4-Post Massacre history was Cody Fleming.
She won by a point.
It was that Arn Anderson poll, WrestleMania 5.
Which is fine because, like, all with this new rebrand we got going on coming in August, I think I'm going to do it either the week before SummerSlam or the week after. We have the 4-Post Massacre 7 Battle of the Great Lakes. What the category is yet, we do not know because Brie has not given it to us because we're waiting to present her with her title before she gives us her category. So, Maya, of course, since you only lost by 1 point, you are more than welcome for a rematch.
Because I'm a media whore.
We're going to bypass. So there were 2 pay-per-views running simultaneously on Sunday night. We're going to bypass talking about one of them. Yeah, Battleground was running alongside.
Which I will recommend everyone go check out Ilya Dragunov versus Dijak in their last man standing. Because god damn, that was a good fucking match. And I think it went on.
Corbin.
Yeah. No, Baron Corbin showed up Tuesday. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen NXT. Baron Corbin went back down to NXT.
I got a spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. If you get upset about spoilers from weekday wrestling,
There's the door.
Is this in
real,
reference
like-
to something that I saw?
no, I
Oh.
know. No, man. No. I like, listen, a pay-per-view. No, like, for real, if you get upset about spoilers in a live action sport, eat a wiener. That's just my opinion on it. Like a movie, I get,
Yeah.
right, or something like that, but like,
Moderator LT.
but like a sport, like, come on, it's a live action sport. People want to talk about it as it's happening. Like,
My
don't go on
philosophy.
social media. Like, I don't know, fucking don't have an addiction to fucking reading people's comments and get mad when somebody's commenting about something you don't want to see. Take part and responsibility in your part of the problem.
My philosophy on spoilers has always been the same. Live events, there's no time limit. Spoilers are going to happen.
Yeah.
Movies 2 weeks after launch. Like the Avengers and shit, the way they did the no media thing for 2 weeks leading up after Endgame, that was perfect. I think 2 weeks was an appropriate time to see the movie if you cared that much. TV shows, the second that last episode airs on a season, you're subjected. That's it. That's on you. You had 10 weeks or whatever it is. Unless it's like Netflix, you got 2 weeks. What, Trevor?
Unless you're Marvel with Captain America, Winter Soldier, the next day doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and you did not know what the hell was going on.
Well, Winter Soldier is the greatest Marvel movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It is.
Okay.
What?
I was gonna say, without that caveat, it goes to Spider-Verse, but
Yeah, without that, because Into the Spider-Verse is the best Marvel movie ever made. I'm so excited to go see the sequel.
oh my god. So, like, bro, the only movies in theater coming out, like, such a good wrestling podcast, by the way. The only movies in theater coming out soon that, like, I'm excited to see, like, Guardians, that's out already, but I still haven't gone and seen it. I don't care about though. The Spider-Man movie, which comes out tomorrow, and the Ninja Turtle movie, which I don't understand.
Ninja
I do not
Turtles
understand why we're not talking about this movie. Like, first of all,
hyped for that.
it has a some like in it. I don't care who you are, all right? Like, it does. And then, like, the story, oh my god, everything, dog. It's gonna be amazing. And Post Malone's in it, and John Cena, and like, yeah.
Dude, so many
It'll be
people.
dope.
Rosario Dawson's in it. Like, I'm excited for that TMNT movie,
And
and
we're
it
just not
finally
talking
feels.
about it enough.
It just finally feels like somebody's going to do it right, like really right.
Yes. Now let's get on to the wrestling portion. Let's start with Saturday, because Saturday then Sunday.
Yes.
Saturday we had Night of Champions from WWE live from Saudi Arabia, and in my opinion, the best Saudi show they've ever put on.
Well, because Sammy was there.
Yes. And what a landmark moment, honestly. Like, most people were pissed off about it, but seeing him come out in the traditional Saudi robes, like being announced where he's from.
Do you know who wasn't upset about it?
Who?
The Saudi crowd.
No, they were not. They were extremely happy.
And you know who matters? The Saudi crowd in Saudi Arabia. So
the fact that Sami Zayn is already home safe shows that this was a phenomenal success for the WWE, finally taking Sammy and Kevin, one person who was banned and one who refused to go because his best friend was banned. It was a landmark moment for the WWE and this Saudi deal. So I know we've all shit on the Saudi deal, and with good reasoning over the years, but this was probably one of the WWE's best pay-per-views outside of the United States, and they're fucking killing it outside the US this year.
And it's a card that had 1 weak spot on it, and it's not the match you think I'm going to say.
No, it's not. We'll start off with the opening match because I know Jeremiah is very excited about the fact that his favorite professional wrestler walking the face of the earth today is our brand new world heavyweight champion. Seth Rollins defeated AJ Styles in the opener in what was a phenomenal way to kick off that pay-per-view.
They took the bar and they said it.
And they said it, and they said good luck to everyone else following this.
and Seth Rollins is the champ. But
Yes.
like I told everyone, I was like, man, Roman Reigns is gonna look really good with that belt. Because
I hope he doesn't
never
get it.
never forget that one of the 2 belts he holds is for Raw.
Mm-hmm. But now it's not because it's unified.
Yeah. Anyways, so now he can win another belt.
If they put another belt on him, come
Bro,
on.
I would listen. I might die from
I'd pop.
a heart attack of laughing.
I'd pop so hard.
I don't think it's the wrong move, right? Like, I'm not upset in any way at the thought of this. Like
fuck Becky 2 belts. Let's go Roman all belts. Roman shows up and spears Rhea Ripley and takes the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Bro, that's why they're having her get more and more touchy with the dudes. Because then, like, you'll be desensitized to when he's super
When Roman cuts her in half with a fucking spear.
And then he destroys Dom. Dog, bro, listen.
This is all building up to Roman. It's the same shit that's been going on for a decade now. It all ends with Roman.
I think it ends with Dom. Dom takes the titles off Roman. You want
after he gets the Rhea's belt. Yeah, like Rhea's the last belt.
Yeah, and Dom has to be Dom has to become the redeemer. This is horrible.
We're bad at
no, man. Like, look at Dom.
There's a reason why this is here.
Dom finds Dom's just walking the locker room. He's the only guy left. Roman's destroyed everyone he loves, and he sees a mommy T-shirt on the floor, right? And then over in the trash, there's a Ray mask, and then Dom's like. And then here you hear Ray's music, right? And then it cuts into Latino Heat, but then it cuts into Rhea, but then it cuts into Dom. And then here's Dom, and he's out here, and he just charges down. And we're all like, oh, my God. And he does a springboard off the top like Ray did off the cage in his fucking debut on SmackDown. And, like, boom, now we're into it, dog. Now we're into it.
You see,
but we're not going to do this at Mania because – you don't do the best storyline at Mania. So we're going to do this at a middle pay-per-view.
Like, we're going to do it at Money in the Bank at the O2 Arena.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely do it in Britain.
Oh, yeah. The UK crowd would go absolutely fucking bonkers.
No, we're doing it in Mexico.
Yeah.
We're doing it in Mexico because we're guaranteeing that Dominic gets the face pop.
He comes out with a mask on but leaves it on.
Oh my God, yes. He comes on with like a Ray mask that's been altered a bit to make it Dom, right? And he's finally accepting the heritage, right? But he's like, I'm Dom though, and like Judgment Day and Ray. But like he destroys him, dog.
What if it's what if it's half Ray and then the other half is the demon Finn Balor mask that he wears out?
That. And then
but it looks like the Puerto Rico flag. No,
we can do all of this.
It's
There's
just
a lot we can do. There's a lot of face.
I swear somebody's gonna be watching this and steal this whole entire idea.
It's his mask. His mask is just his face with a teardrop.
But I really hope they get. I'm sorry. But the ending of this, right, is he only gets Rhea's belt back.
So he becomes the SmackDown Women's Champion.
No, but he gives it back to Rhea with a finger poke of doom on Friday.
I'm fucking with that.
So that's what I'm saying.
We move into
the table.
A match I was pleasantly surprised by with Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch. I was surprised by it. I was pleased by it as well. Trish, I thought did a really good job. Maybe. I don't know. Hold on.
Yep. All right. So yeah, we moved into Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch, and I think WWE is doing like at the end of the match, Zoe Starks came out and hit her with the Z360, Becky with the Z360 to help Trish win, which now Trish is taking Zoe Starks under her wing, which I think is a great move. It's a great way to use the legend on the short time that she's going to be with the company to establish a new star. And I don't think there's anyone better for the gig than Zoe Starks right now. She's phenomenal.
And did you see that her nose was almost broken again, Becky Lynch, because of that kick?
She got hit in the nose real hard and got her nose busted open again. Just made it look even more vicious. But it was a good back and forth. Trish Stratus doing Hurricanratas and Hurricanratas and Hurricanratas. And hey, that was the move she did a lot for this match.
Hey,
Yes,
I like that move.
I do too. It's the stratisfaction I needed. But it ended with Zoe Starks pulling Becky out, hitting her with the Z360, throwing her back in the ring for a stratisfaction from Trish Stratus for the win.
Bless you.
Thank you. But all in all, a very, very good match. And how in the fuck is Trish better now than she was in the Attitude Era?
Because she is a yoga master.
So, that's what I got to do to be a good wrestler is be a yoga master?
It's how you got to be good at anything.
So why don't you do it?
Oh, yoga. Yeah, I don't got the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, if I did yoga, then there'd be nothing left for people. I'm just saying. Plus, I'm getting ready for another food competition next week.
Oh dear God, man!
It's just 12 tacos.
How many food competitions do you do?
All the ones that they tell me about, just because, again, I'm a media whore. I love being on the media, dog. I love it. I'm pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm going to eat tacos in drag. Nobody else is in drag, but I was asked to be in drag. So Victoria Din will make her return June 10th.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, but she's a master at munching tacos, so I ain't worried about it. She won a belt for it.
Ethan.
It's true, Trev. She did.
You're muted.
She won a taco eating belt.
Where are we at with this? What are we talking about?
Oh, we
Besides
just
the
talked
top
about Trish and Becky, so we're on whatever was
okay.
next.
The absolute shocker of the night, Gunther and Ali putting on. They saw what Seth and AJ did, and they said, "You know what? We can do it. We can do it," and they did. It was fantastic. Once again, spoiler alert on this: Mustafa Ali is now on NXT as well, which I think is a very good spot for him, especially if he's going to be involved in the North American title picture.
Really utilizing that free agency shit they got going on right now. Because that also led into Baron Corbin going down to NXT because he's a free agent.
Yeah, I thought this match was great. It did really good storytelling. Gunther didn't take a bump for probably the first 5 minutes of the match.
Rightfully so.
I think the match was only about 9 or 11 minutes long, but he didn't take a bump for the first 5 minutes of it. And then, you saw Ali slowly chopping him down. And there was a point. He hits that 450. And I'm like, some bitch, are they going to do it? They didn't, but they did a really good job of telling that story. I liked it. Got a really good crowd reaction. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Moved on to the next match, which was Asuka and Bianca Belair, a shock title change on this pay-per-view.
I don't agree with it.
You don't agree with Asuka beating Bianca?
No.
Care to go on?
The same thing I've been saying for months on this podcast. Bianca is too important for more important things.
What do you think?
She's very important to demographics and to she is the Black Panther in the WWE right now to young African American girls, and it's a real thing. You need to have a role model. I don't see the belt being on her was a problem. I don't know. It's me, man. There's more to wrestling than wrestling. You know what I mean?
What if this is setting up for Bianca to try to take the belt from Rhea at SummerSlam to bring it back to SmackDown?
That makes no sense to me.
Because they easily could have just done what they did in the past and just traded belts.
We're already past.
You think after the backlash that they've had with the belt swaps over the years, you think they'd really want to go through that again, especially after the Becky Charlotte one?
Yeah, but they didn't do a belt swap. They just, the belts just change what brand you're on because you work there. It happens. It's wrestling. It doesn't have to make sense, guys. We all know that real sport meets entertainment. You know what I mean? On that level, it's. I don't know. I don't think it matters to have to make sense on why that belt's there. Just change the back color plate, call it a day.
I think that this was my weakest match on the card until about the last 2.5 minutes of it. And it's just like credit to Asuka for being able to make sure that the spot happens. Because without her doing that, it throws the whole thing off. I just thought this was an unusually weak performance by both women involved, which is strange because they're both workhorses, probably the best women's wrestlers actually in the company in regards to in-ring competition.
Not Amy Sky.
I'm not getting into this with both of you. I just thought that it was uncharacteristically mediocre for both of them.
Well, I heard somewhere Bianca got hurt. Like, I mean, it's the internet though, so I mean, it could be true, it could not be true. Right. And like they made like a change. Like I heard Bianca was supposed to go up, and they did the she's hurt, change it in ring type thing.
Okay, but yeah, Ethan was right.
Weird ones.
It was far and away the weakest match on the card. Because especially when you move into the next title match, which was a dominating 69-second performance from Rhea Ripley, where she hate-fucked Natalya.
I miss old WCW championship squash matches on pay-per-views. Just like once in a while, not every week, doesn't have to be every single thing, but once in a while, make your champion just an absolute monster, especially against an established talent. To me, it doesn't really work with somebody like it doesn't. You can't have a talent match against the enhancement guy, the local talent. You can't have a title match against that and make it like boost the champion up. But in this case, what
in Saudi Arabia you can.
Oh well,
because there's a man named Mansoor.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you know this. He's the most over man in Saudi.
Yeah, well, in that way you can, but in this one, I thought, Natty's a veteran. A loss isn't going to hurt her because you knew she wasn't going to win anyway. So you might as well just go out there and make Rhea look really good on it as well.
And Rhea looked amazing, especially when she gave Dom uppies after the match. She spent more time holding Dom talking shit to Natalya than she spent whooping Natalya's ass.
I'm so jealous of him.
He literally, Dom's celebration with Rhea lasted longer than the match.
Uppies.
It was literally like they did a whole bit on fucking Twitter where it was just like, what is Rhea whispering in Dom's ear? And she was like, if I win, you get uppies. And that's why he started to smile and ran directly into the ring to jump into her arms.
I think the wife's home now.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. So then we moved into Cody.
Did you get a Spider-Man Whopper?
No, I got chicken fries.
Boy.
So we move into Cody and Brock. And what did he say when he was walking away?
I have no idea. I was mad that you didn't get the Whopper. Idea.
Oh, anyway, so we move into Cody and Brock. A very necessary second match if you were going to do a triple, if you're going to do a 3-match series with these guys, it was very necessary. And I thought it played out almost textbook how it should have played out. Both guys did a really good job making it get to that point. Both of them look strong. Cody didn't tap. Brock, locked him in with the Kimura. Brock Lesnar is, in my opinion, the last 2 years having the absolute best run of matches of his entire career. And it's because he's not being asked to do too much. And they're putting him in there with guys that are doing the right stuff. I think it's good. I like this Brock. I'm here for it.
I can't recall if Cody has hit a crossroads on Lesnar yet. But that's something I need to see.
Wait, he hasn't?
I don't think he's hit a crossroads on him yet.
Nobody can hit a fucking crossroads like James, though.
James?
Fury.
James.
Oh, yeah, he's got a wicked one. I'm sorry. You say James, which is like number one on the most basic guy names ever. It's 2 of our fucking people in here's middle names.
Who?
It's not me.
You and Trevor.
No, it's not.
Aren't you Ethan James Hubbard?
No.
Oh. Oh, yeah, Alabaster.
Yeah. But no, it's still not James anyway.
Oh, my fucking God.
Yes.
It's Alabaster?
No, It's not. It's John.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
They're all saying hi.
What's up, Sam?
Oh, I don't.
Sam.
Can you put it in the fridge. I don't want
Sam.
that.
Can you
Thank
put my
you.
Hershey
Thank
treat
you.
pie in the fridge? I don't want it to melt.
What?
Where'd you
Tell
get
Sam to
these?
say, tell Sam to
just
say hi
passed
to
out the
us.
other day, so I bought one.
Tell
I
Sam
don't
to
wanna
say
buy
hi.
She wants.
Sam
They
to
want
say
you to say hi. Would you say hi to them?
Hi.
You're so hot. You're so hot. I love how she knows what I'm saying, even though she can't hear me.
About what? You want it? Here.
I don't want it.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't want it, Ethan. Alabaster James.
I was already told that earlier. Neither of those are actually my name.
They're both
I mean-
your name.
James, you can. That's
Bro, that's your new wrestling name is Alabaster James. I don't understand even what we're talking about.
You're
other
white
than
as
that
fuck.
right now.
It works for you. You're pasty.
You're Alabaster James, dog. Listen, your dad worked in a Mayo plant. Your mom worked in a milk factory. Again, you're from Plainsville, Ohio. No, you're from Plainsville, Iowa. That's so white.
so. When the inevitable happens and you guys kick TP Tom out of the offset,
Oh, that's never
Or
going to
outset?
happen. First of all, how dare you? He has an office.
okay. Well, whenever that does happen, though,
But it's not. It's not Alabaster James.
I have a great toilet paper riddled or toilet paper reference riddled speech to take him on as my client.
Okay. Never going to kick him out. He has an office.
What if he outgrows you? Did we?
What'd you just say to me?
What if
What
he
did you?
outgrows you guys?
What? Never. How?
mean,
Who
this
the
is-
fuck are you?
This would be years down the road, of course.
You get really cocky when you get chicken fries in you, sir.
Did you guys scout out his new office at the next venue?
Can we what?
Did you scout out his office at the next venue?
Oh no, we forgot to. It would have been great if you were there to have helped us.
Yeah, I know. His representation sent me an email and they said something about nothing more than 3-ply. He said something about it needs to be tougher, like himself.
That wasn't from his people. Him messaging you to get him 3-ply toilet paper. God damn it, Ethan! Quit trying to twist shit to sound important. I don't understand.
He said the 2-ply didn't work well enough to try to take down high towers. so
That
he had
shit
to
was
go
not
stronger.
2-ply. That shit was barely ply. All right, like that shit.
I felt so bad because I beamed you right in the fucking face.
No, you got me in the chest, and also all of you threw them off. Like, all right, so the cue was when I jumped in, and no one did that. They all went at different times, and they didn't go at like different times where people were like, "Oh shit, I should go." It was like, "There goes one, it landed." There goes another one, and then there was like a pew pew. It was so bad, but I feel like it made it better. Like,
Yeah, because it was a shitty entrance for
It
a
was
guy with
shitty,
toilet
dog.
paper
It was-
humor.
man, so like we got to get it down for this next show. We gotta.
You really need Charmin. You really need that because the ones I was throwing, like I tried to do the streamer thing where I hold the end and throw it, but the second I did, I was left holding one piece of single toilet paper in my hand.
So
You
it's
need
just like
Charmin
throwing a
extra
brick.
soft, okay? Russ floor 4-ply joy.
Yeah. What a time.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Ethan gets really ballsy when he gets the chicken fry in him, Russ.
You know what? God bless. God bless him.
All right, we got one more
let him have
match
his
to
chicken
cover.
fries.
We got one more match to cover for Night of Champions. That's, of course, the tag team title match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline. What a match. Ethan, you're muted. Stop. You mute yourself a lot and forget
But
to
you know
unmute.
exactly what I said. The match doesn't matter, and that's the best part about this because it's the story that matters.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing what you should have done a long time ago. I got you. Storytelling for fucking days. I thought
They killed
the
Uncle
Bloodline-
Howdy?
They killed off Uncle Howdy. Yeah, they did. Sure as shit did.
No, sadly.
Gone forever, like Aaron Hernandez.
Oh. Oh, no.
Oh shit!
Oh no!
Wow, that was dark.
Next, he's gonna tell a Chris Benoit joke, and then it really
Chris
goes
Benoit.
down. Yeah.
I still find it funny that there was a pet pig named Chris Benoit.
Crispin Flaw.
Oh, Crispin. Crispin.
Crispin.
Crispin Wow. It's really funny. It's really
No,
funny.
but the tag title match was phenomenal. The match didn't matter at all, no matter how good it was, because the whole thing mattered about Jimmy turning on Roman. Finally snapping, had enough of it. Super kick to the face, pushed his brother, gave him another one, and dragged his brother out of the ring with him for Sammy and Kevin to get the pin on Solo.
The only one that was there through absolutely everything, Jimmy Uso.
What a cowardly move. What a fraud. Absolute fraud.
Yeah, that was weak.
You know,
Jimmy
Jimmy
should've
didn't have the
kicked him
balls
too.
to do it when he's at full strength. He waits until Roman's beaten down in a match. Waits until Solo's, incapacitated and can't defend the tribal chief. It's
And
a
I want
bitch
to talk
move.
about.
It's a
I want to
bitch
talk
move.
about
What
that.
are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?
How are
here?
you going to be about the family when you just fucked over your little brother's first real shot at a title? I don't know, man. That's crazy to me. I get it. You're mad at Roman at the time because he's mad because you kicked Solo in the face like a jackass. But yeah, I don't know, man. I hope the Usos get what's coming to them. To be honest with you.
Wow.
Trying to ruin the best storyline in wrestling by wanting to be the star. Know your place at the table, all right? Or you can drown in irrelevance sea.
Well, I think this is going to lead up to it's going to be Roman and Jimmy at Money in the Bank.
I think it's going to be Roman and Solo versus the Usos at Money in the Bank. I think that's the whole.
And Solo spikes Roman.
I think Kevin and Sammy will be in that match too.
It'll
They
be
need to
a
get-
three-way for the tag titles.
They need
Yeah,
to get
because-
Sammy and Owens as far away from this shit as possible.
And then they'll have a
Agreed.
woman cash in at the
But
end of
what
the
do
night
you-
because she can't hold the briefcase for more than 24 hours.
I don't know, but I don't Imperium versus Sammy and Kev. I guess is kind of cool, but
I would
don't
honestly
know.
rather see a three-way tag between them, Alpha Academy, and Imperium right now. Because the whole bit on Monday was fucking hysterical. Kevin going do the thing, say the thing that makes me laugh and chuckle a little bit. You know the thing. Just essentially I love Kevin right now because he's playing the mindset at home of a guy who watches wrestling and then goes and wrestles. This doesn't work. What the fuck are you doing? When
Love
Imperium
that
came out,
song.
no one said your name. You don't come out when no one says your name. This is anarchy. This doesn't matter. All this shit. When he did that, I fucking lost my shit on Monday. I thought that was
couldn't help but notice that there was somebody backstage, with some maple syrup and everything, and it's too much. The Sammy and KO need to be far away from the bloodline. It's run its course. These companies are getting even worse at knowing when it's time to end something or end an interaction and move the program on. No one else should be involved with the bloodline at this point. You have your bloodline civil war. You have the untapped potential of the elders, right? Because Solo was supposedly sent by the elders with the elders' blessing. All right, well, Roman dedicated the match to Alpha and Sika, right? So there should be some kind of fallout. Rikishi, I think, tweeted something to the effect of this needs to end.
enough is enough. Shit.
Enough is enough. They need to start leaning into that. If you're going to you should set up the angle that there's going to be a civil war and then have the elders show up.
Meng should just stab everybody.
No, but you know what I mean? Have one of the elders show up and say, get your shit together. The family's the family. They go back on their little run. They probably kind of, patch things up for a bit. And then something inevitably happens. And then you have your civil war. That's how you have to figure out how you're going to get this to next WrestleMania.
Or Roman orders Solo to spike the elders.
Nah.
He's just you guys, what are you guys talking about, elders? I'm the chief. I run this shit. Who do you guys think you are coming into my ring? My paycheck keeps us living. And they say something to the extent where they just disrespect Roman, and then Roman's just Solo. And Solo, without hesitation, grabs Rikishi and spikes the fuck out of him.
It's the
It's
opposite.
got to be Rikishi.
It's the opposite. Solo would look at the elders and he would know. Again, he's been sent by the elders. I think that's your breaking point for how Solo turns on Roman. It's not because of the problem.
He's got to take out the elders. Dog.
We need to hate Roman with every fiber of our being at this moment. I still don't hate him. I still love the guy. I need to hate Roman. I need a reason to be like this guy. It's got to stop.
But I
haven't hit that point with Roman yet.
But I don't know if I hate Roman if this thing happens either. Like I don't like seriously.
I saw the smile on your
Roman,
face.
dog. Like I don't think I can hate Roman. He could punch my mother, and I'd be like, "That looks."
Oh,
so
then take
cool.
that out of the equation. I was gonna say he just pulls a Snitsky and punts a live child or a puppy.
Oh,
Bro,
no.
probably,
He could field goal kick my mom in the next week. I don't care.
Did the kid acknowledge him? Like, if the kid didn't acknowledge him, I'm not mad about it. Like, if the kid acknowledged him, maybe now my favoritism's kind of wavering. I'm like, I don't know, man. He acknowledged you and you kicked him. You know, like
it's got to be a baby in a Roman Reigns onesie with the little like.
Then
the
I'm a little
thing
mad.
with Fist glove on it.
And then it, like in his Roman shirt says like I'm the one because he's 1 year old.
So I think Russ, this was the breaking point of cutting off any other involvement of anybody else in the Bloodline storyline. And it makes sense because where the pay-per-view was. You tied up the whole tag team thing. You can move Sami and Kevin out of it. You did it in Saudi, so it was on your highest grossing show of the year money-wise. And then you set up that part to like let the shit go them separate ways. At this point, Sami and Kevin don't even need the fucking tag titles. Like that's run its course. So if they lost them next week, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because they're outside of the Bloodline stuff. Now, I do think they need to hold them because it kind of eliminates the Bloodline getting their hands on them because now they've beaten both teams that could be put forth. That's you move into that stuff. I do think Kevin Owens needs to be in the Money in the Bank of like ladder match. I feel like that's a thing that needs to happen.
I think they both need to.
I'm
not upset at it.
We got
What
Russ here now.
Riddle, by the way.
What was that?
Where's Riddle?
I don't care.
He was there.
No, honestly though, where's Riddle? Because that was the most forced part of this thing that's happened in 2 months. It made no sense from the get-go.
Well, because they took him out.
And now he's just gone.
You think Riddle has legal obligations to where he can't leave the country and go to Saudi?
Who cares? Who cares? Figure it out. Like, don't inject him into the storyline right before you have a Saudi show if he can't leave the country. It's just dumb. You know? It was just another complication. It was another layer of nonsense.
I think it was a way to take a guy who wasn't on TV. Suspension was up. They wanted to get him out there because he sells merch. He sells a shit ton of merch. They wanted to get him out in front of a crowd. So they said, let's put him in the storyline that's got the most eyes on it and roll with it.
Needless.
Well, let's move on from this to the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. We're going to skip the pre-show match because I don't care.
God damn it. Matt Hardy owns Ethan Page's contract. You put some fucking respect
there
on
you
that.
Go. Pre-show
Jeff Hardy
coverage.
almost died twice.
I don't care to talk about Jeff Hardy anymore. Like I'm at that point, retire, bro. You're done. That is my start and finish on Jeff Hardy. Retire, you're done.
I'm just glad that match was not on the pay-per-view. It was just the buy-in.
You could have put the entrance. You could have put the Guns entrance on the pay-per-view. That's fucking great.
Their entrance is fire as fuck.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to what kicked off the pay-per-view, which is the Blackjack Battle Royal for the AEW International Championship. What a battle royal it was. I love this battle royal from start to finish. I don't care how convoluted the rules were that everyone started on the outside and you had to get in and then you could be eliminated.
Go ahead, Russ. Why didn't everybody just jump in?
The goal would be to stay on the outside as long as you could, in my opinion.
Like Swerve did for half the match.
Yeah, because he's fucking great.
Mm-hmm. Russ, you got that look on your face, man. Go ahead.
Just lazy. There was one overarching problem to this pay-per-view. There were good things, but there were bad things. Overarching issue is too much of the same shit happening, too much out of the ring, and not enough action in it. Like, you had an unsanctioned match, you had anarchy in the arena. The first match of the night is a battle royal, which is supposed to happen in the ring. And having more than half the participants spend the first 3 or 4 minutes on the floor is dumb shit. If you wanted to have some kind of like nonsensical falls count anywhere, elimination battle royal, then okay, then do that. But don't call it a battle royal and then not do it. It's like, oh, hey, we're booking a cage match, but it's going to start in the back. And the only way to win the match is to escape the cage. But we're going to spend the first 15 minutes of the match backstage and on the ramp. Then we're going to climb into the cage and one guy's going to get out. It's fucking stupid. Like, just don't do the gimmick.
Did you just talk about Legacy versus DX inside Hell in a Cell? Because that was exactly what happened for their Hell in a Cell match.
But Hell in a Cell is a little bit different, though.
Yeah, there's no like escaping it. The point of the Hell in the Cell is to contain it.
I just think it was a convoluted opening match that didn't need to be convoluted. You can have a battle royal, and like there were good moments in it, but then like, if you like the idea of stories within stories, cool. Like you had Swerve and Brian Cage in the same ring as Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes, and you had Ricky Starks, and you had Bullet Club Gold, and then you had like some of the better, I guess we'd call them legacy tag teams in AEW, Best Friends and Lucha Bros, and like, all right, cool. Like there's a lot to build off there. The one neat thing I didn't see coming was them putting all of the luchadors kind of on a 4-guy team for a bit there, right? Bandito and Commander with Lucha Bros, and they all started kind of working together. Like that was kind of neat. JR then says, I think they're all related. But like other than that, like everything was fine. Like just they're once they got in the ring, I was like, this is good. It makes sense. You have a guy go through the middle ropes, fine. Like we're used to that. There's too many of those spots going over the top rope and hanging on and maneuvering back in. It's overplayed. And if you're going to do that, like if you're booking the match, so Jeremiah, you lend the expertise here. But if you're going to continue to do 15, 20 or more spots of going over the top rope and weaseling back in, then commentary should be saying, it's just like in a sport. You watch film and you learn more and more ways to evade. And what makes this kind of battle royal different from one from 15, 20 years ago is the athleticism is higher. And these guys have seen more and more battle royals and they have more and more creative ways to get back in the ring.
Nope. I got you. Me and you are going to fix wrestling, Russ, because that's my new strategy. Whenever I see somebody go for that, I'm just taking out hands. It's only fingers. You just got to hit them really hard, and they'll let go.
It wasn't for no reason. If you're not aware, that was Bandito's first appearance on an AEW pay-per-view that wasn't all in. So that was probably a very special moment for him.
But yes, go for the hands. Take the fingers out.
Which was genius about the ending.
I thought that the best friend spots where all of them were eliminated, essentially saving Orange Cassidy to keep his title reign going, was cool. Mm-hmm. I popped super hard for that finish when he just walked over and just kicked the hand instead of doing the Superman punch. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a lot to the Battle Royal I enjoyed. I agree with you that starting it on the outside for the first 4 or 5 minutes was dumb, but I thought the final 4 was a very strong final 4, and that final 2 sequence was amazing.
I only had one complaint about who was in the very end. Like I honestly was hoping that they were going to roll a little bit longer with the idea that like Jay White was going to have a shot. And I know that they wanted to continue the story with Starks, or try to make it seem like they were going to. But I really thought that would have been, if not a good opportunity to put the belt on him, to make him feel like more of a legitimate threat for titles or for some kind of gold. And they didn't do it, which I thought was weird. Dynamite follow up with FTR and everything made some sense, but so I love Swerve. I want that Swerve better get that belt next week.
So we're moving on to the Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho unsanctioned match, and this was a fucking train wreck.
Agreed.
Far and away the worst match on the card.
Mm-hmm.
Sabu's spot was him slipping off the top rope through a table outside. Roderick, essentially the unsanctioned portion with all the guys, it ended in the first 2 minutes of the match. After the first 2 minutes, it was Chris Jericho and Adam Cole having a slow, plodding, unsanctioned match with an unsatisfying finish.
And then we ended up with probably the best part of the match was every single kendo stick shot that Britt Baker got in on anybody. That's probably the best part of the match.
The only part of the match I can remember.
Pulling.
I can remember that in the finish and Sabu slipping off the top rope.
Yeah, because I think
That's
majority of us had a heart attack watching Sabu come off that top rope.
The best part of the match is when the final bell rang and we moved the fuck on. This was dumb. Never again. This is where you have how many people helping with creative and booking. Again, explain why there's an unsanctioned match on the same card as Anarchy in the Arena. It was always going to be it was always going to be redundant, and it was never going to make sense or live up to the other match. It was just stupid. Again, a gimmick for the sense of a gimmick, and it wasn't a blow-off. An unsanctioned match should be a blow-off of a feud. And then they go out and have what the hell they call it, an intergender tag match on Dynamite a few days later. Stupid. Don't do it.
Well, we can just do exactly what you said and move on from this because this was bad.
Yeah.
Highly recommend skipping this shit. And then we moved into something fun, which was FTR versus Team TNA. And that was a lot of dumb, overbooked bullshit shenanigans fun. The fact that Mark Briscoe took a guitar shot and then Aubrey Edwards took a guitar shot. This was an overbooked mess in the best possible way. A nice way to recover from that shitty unsanctioned match.
The whole beginning of the match though was dragging on. It took a man. Then finally after the guitar shots is when it's like, oh, let's go.
I fucking loved it when Aubrey came running out, who like gets way too into her job and is way too much of a focal point in the matches she officiates.
What up, Tommy?
And she took a guitar to the head. Karen Jarrett, God bless.
I love Aubrey Edwards as a referee. I don't think she takes away from matches. I think if your eyes focus on her, that says more about you and your need to look at ladies than wrestling at the time. But
I look at Rick Knox too, and he's certainly. I don't know who he's doing that for. The Crypt Keeper maybe, but like
he's doing it for you, baby. He's doing it for you. Right. You're looking. He's winning.
It's working.
It's working, man. But like I did love. So I love Aubrey taking a guitar shot. I just wish it would have hit her in the head, the shoulder, very blatantly.
No, it was on the head. It definitely. I think the side of the guitar hit here, but like a good part of it cracked her on the head. I just pulled it. It was
there was not enough Aubrey getting wrecked by a guitar. I wanted it should have just hung around her neck. Like Aubrey,
like it did for Alley
so
Catch.
Disappointed.
Like the Alley Catch guitar shot, where that shit just wrapped around her fucking head.
That was my favorite version of Jeff Jarrett ever. Was the Walk Among the Tombstones Jeff Jarrett that was going through GCW and doing that shit.
My favorite Jeff Jarrett.
This is my favorite Jeff Jarrett ever right now.
My favorite Jeff Jarrett looks like a grown man who's getting ready to be in his first 13-year-old pony ride competition from
the white.
Early circa WWE days. Bro. He's like, man, all these guys at the gyms be cutting stuff in their shirts. They do it horizontal. Let me try to be different. I want vertical cuts in my t-shirts. And then,
the greatest wrestling gear of all time.
Yo, slap nuts.
Slap nuts should make a return.
If I were to do gear based off of gear from Gear Pass, it would have the Jeff Jarrett top with the Zack Ryder pants
So it would basically be the David Arquette gear that he came out to that pay-per-view in.
Yes!
The fucking red Elvis gear that was like a mashup of 4 people's gear from the back.
And like I want it bejeweled. I mean, like so heavy that the thin lines of t-shirt are ripping because it's just 8 pounds of bejeweled. I want the bejeweled.
In case we didn't say it at this point, FTR won. Thank God. Moved on next to Wardlow versus Christian Cage in a ladder match. And if you want my opinion, it should have been fucking Luchasaurus versus Arn Anderson.
No.
Arn Anderson is the sole reason that dinosaurs are extinct.
Just
I
him
don't know
looking
what-
like
I don't know what
spine
plagued-
buster.
I don't know what plagued AEW to go like, yo, Arn, just bite his thumb off. Just like we've got no reason for it. Just go in there and bite his thumb for an uncomfortable period of time, and then pop this blood capsule in your mouth, and then make it look like you just bit your own fucking tongue off.
You know what it was? Tony's like, I owe a guy a thumb, Arn. I need you to do me a favor. You seem like an outstanding young guy.
Just stand like you're doing the spine buster and looking like this.
Yeah,
Arn
seriously.
stood like this.
They zoomed
Arn
in on him
stood
when he was
like
sitting in the
this.
corner.
For like 2 fucking minutes,
His back,
waiting,
his
like
knees locked into that
this.
position, and he couldn't move.
And then he realized when he popped up for the spine buster, fuck, I have arthritis in my knees, and that probably wasn't the best idea. And then tried to pick him up before going, fuck that, and biting his thumb off.
Help, I've fallen and I can't
Just
get
his
up.
facial expression was like,
Well, no, they zoomed in on him in the corner. It was like, well, after they established that he like bit Luchasaurus' thumb off, and they zoom in on Arn, and there's that super dark spot right here, and just and the whole time I'm just thinking he looks like a little beaver, doesn't he? Doesn't he, little Arn with little beaver cheeks, you know?
That would have been a more effective thing for me. Is just Arn rocking up and just grabbing his dick and twisting it. And then Luchasaurus, just to his name, just lets out the most guttural roar you've ever heard in your life. Just
and then Arn Anderson just looked like a freaking zombie after that. He's like, what the hell was I doing here?
we're dumb. We're really dumb.
I'm trying out for the next season of The Walking Dead. Arn
So-
show got canceled.
After this, we ran into, was this the trios match after this?
We didn't even say who won. Wardlow won after
Yeah.
hitting a 20-foot. Okay, Arn pushed a ladder over, cool spot. Where then Wardlow caught Christian in a power bomb and nailed one, climbed up, grabbed the belt. He retained. Good decision. He looked strong in this finish.
Oh, we forgot about when he went to go jump onto the ladder and it buckled.
And it looked like he broke his shin, and Taz
Yeah.
started talking about it, which is like where Taz adds so much to the commentary. That actually
Trevor-
was scary.
Trevor, I think that's when you popped in with your line of the night going, oh my God, who would have expected that? And I went, me. A 265-pound man springboarding to it. That thing was gonna. He's not Ricochet. He's not graceful.
And then I go, yeah, they're only waited for 300 pounds.
So we have a fashion sensation here amongst the 5 of us. I have to ask this fine gentleman's opinion on the sleeveless turtleneck that one Christian Cage was
Drip.
wearing. Because
Drip.
I thought it was fantastic.
That's hard.
Mhm.
That's hard. Like it takes a real man.
That dude looks like
rock
he's
that.
covering up the hickeys on his neck during breakfast, so you don't know that he's fucking your mom.
There
He
was
missing
a
his
meme,
chain.
there was a meme that went around that was Christian Cage looks like the guy who marries your great aunt and then loses her at sea.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was such a good look. Christian Cage is so good and deserves so much better booking. But like, what a good win. If you wanted to reestablish Wardlow, this is a good way to reestablish Wardlow.
Mhm.
Got to feed him good opponents and people that can teach him and like kind of get him better polished, because inevitably we're going to see a Wardlow and MJF program. You have to make sure that he's ready for that moment. He's physically going to look like it. He's got the in-ring ability. He's got to work on the psychology.
and he slipped on a ladder and busted his nuts.
We don't talk about him here.
No, that's a way to get blocked.
I'm not gonna block you, but that we don't talk about him.
I'll have LT put you in timeout. He's really good at it. Ask Ethan.
I get put in timeout on my own show.
All right. Next, we moved into the AEW Women's World Championship match, which was more of a segment than a match.
Yes.
Tony Storm beat Jamie Hayter. There was a whole mess of shenanigans. Jamie's hurt. It's pretty obvious from the match. And this was a way to get the belt off of her until she can be healthy again. So, go ahead.
Where did the shenanigans before the match start?
In the back. Outside the ring.
Well, what we saw outside the ring. The Battle Royal started outside the ring. The unsanctioned match started with a bunch of bullshit outside the ring. Just pointing out a little bit of a thing here.
We're gonna start all our matches at Oops All Bangers outside the ring.
Outside.
Outside.
You got plenty of space. Might as well use it.
Why spend the money on the ring if that's stupid? Why wrestle in the ring?
Why have a ring at all?
No sense.
So I'm gonna give the floor to Ethan for this next match, so he can explain exactly what happened when we were all hanging out during the House of Black versus the Acclaimed. Ethan, I'm going to give, you know what, Ethan, for this one, here you go, buddy.
So the House of Black has their, what do they call it? Title defense, open challenge, whatever it was. It was an open challenge with special rules. And the way that this works is they have a 20 count. The challengers get to offer a stipulation. We kind of saw the writing on the wall with what happened on Rampage as to who was going to challenge them. Inevitably, it was the Acclaimed with Billy Gunn coming down. Now, everybody knows that Max Caster likes to rap a little bit before his things. He makes his first line, after the Vegas bit, was talking about Brody King looking like a reject from RuPaul's Drag Race. And then
Great line,
fantastic line, and got a little bit of a character break out of Brody King as well. So his second line comes down. Out of pure instinct, you banned me. I knew it was going to happen. So anyway, his second line comes down, and he's talking about Buddy Matthews, and he's basically, you're getting cucked by a kid named Dominic. Clinton got up simultaneously, foghorn, leghorn, like chicken strutted over to the side of the room by the door, and then tried to walk into the kitchen. Now, mind you, about 45 minutes earlier, he put on a brand new pair of socks. He just does this little foot shuffle thing when he gets excited about something. And I have hardwood floors, and he just straight up ate the most shit you could possibly see. Because there's like a love seat, and all you saw was Clint go like that behind it, and just immediately pop back up like, I'm all right, nothing's wrong. But it was that full Ric Flair elbow drop in his fucking suit jacket in the ring. That's exactly what we had going on.
Kyle Fisher, frequent viewer of the channel and a friend of ours, said it was like watching a Lincoln log fall over. You were vertical and then you went horizontal. There was no bending of your body. Everything fell at once. Your legs gave out and you went with the momentum.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was like if they were running in Scooby-Doo, and instead of their legs just staying in place, their whole upper body just falls flat.
I bruised my hip and my thigh and my knee. Been hurting for a couple days, especially with my job involving me walking 10 miles a day.
That's what you get for not scuffing your socks up first, buddy.
Fuck you, white boy Rick. All right, but we moved on to the House of Black versus the Gunn versus the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. I thought it was all right.
Still love the lighting for the match.
Love the lighting, but there needs to be a little more polish on the House of Black rules. Don't come in here House of Black rules. They allow you to have one stipulation, and then don't take them up on it. It makes them. I don't know that. I didn't like that. Russ, you have a thought?
No, I'm trying to process that opinion.
I will
a little more
say
polish.
I'm just trying to because it doesn't exactly align with some of your other takes on wrestling. I'm just surprised that you're a stickler for the rules on that one.
I love my 6-man tag matches. Love them very much. They're my favorite stipulation match.
Is now an okay time to point out that the Young Bucks fucked over AEW by creating the trios belts?
No,
Because
we
it's
can
now
get
made-
to that after.
Because it's made a more, a shallower tag division, and it's also kind of
We can get to that after the Anarchy and the Arena match.
the belts,
but-
though.
Agreed.
But this match was okay. It was, in my opinion, a nice breather room because the shock lost by Jamie Hayter, now knowing that she is really injured. This match really picked up in the last 3 or 4 minutes. But it was mainly Bowens getting his ass kicked for 10 minutes before he made the hot tag to Billy Gunn. We'll move
honest
on
question.
to the,
Honest question. If you knew that you were going to do the kind of shenanigans squash of Hayter and put the women's title match before the TBS title match, which doesn't make sense, you did because of the surprise. Would it have made sense to start the pay-per-view with that match? Like, start with a world championship match. You could have had Hayter and Tony Storm start the show. And it's shenanigans and might not be a great way to start, but it at least makes logical sense why that would lead and be on the card before the TBS title match.
I would have put it in second behind the battle royal. I thought pacing on this card was a little strange because you went back to back world championship 4 pillars, or 4 pillars and then the Anarchy. So it was just the stipulations that we've said before are what ruined it because there was no easy way to pace this entire thing out.
Yeah.
And I think this leads into something I'll get into at the end when it comes to AEW pay-per-views as a whole. But the next match we went into was Jade Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie for the TBS Championship. And I thought this was a solid fucking match and one of Jade's best performances. Yep. Taya should be very, very proud of that performance because she made Jade look that much better before the surprise after this match.
I don't like the ending. I don't like the surprise.
No?
Well, we'll get right to that. We'll go after the match. Jade won with the Jaded on Valkyrie. Chris Statlander made a return after Mark Sterling came out and made some comments saying, "Oh, she's the best anywhere, any place, anytime." Out comes Statlander to accept that challenge and pin Jade in 48 seconds to make her the 1 in 60-1.
I mean, I like it. I don't have a problem with it because I see potential for Jade and being something higher than that. I feel like personally, I would have pulled the trigger on Jade just handing the title off and never accepting a loss a lot earlier with the baddies, like her just giving the title to somebody. I think the only issue is she's the first person that's held the TBS belt. If she had been like the second or third person, I feel like it would work because now, like as the only person, it's it kind of devalues the title if she doesn't lose it. But they also have 9 million titles in AEW, so you kind of got to look at it that way too.
There's an easy workaround though. Like there would have been, and it would have been using the baddies. It would have been using what's her name?
Kira Hogan?
No.
Diamante?
No.
Velvet?
No. Do you also forget her name?
Yes.
Her main baddie. Okay. So I feel really bad that
Layla Gray?
Is that
it?
Layla
Gray.
Okay. It would have made more sense for her to give her the TBS title and say, "You're my proxy. You have to defend the belt while I go after the main title." The big issue here is you could have done it where Jade doesn't lose and also doesn't relinquish the title until she's got both. But the way that we used to hate the Codyverse and how it just kind of functioned off in its own unrelated part of the show, No one has ever made sense of why Jade at 59-0 or 58-0 going, no, it's 59-0 going into the pay-per-view, had never once even on screen conceptualized like going after the main belt. Like nobody's ever explained that. Even when there was an interim title, like when Tony had it the first time and it was the interim title, like perfect time for Jade to go after it. So I mean, her losing to Statlander, the easy out is that she had a really tough match against Taya Valkyrie. I think one of her longest matches that she's ever had in AEW.
Almost 10 minutes.
Like her entire wrestling career. So like you can go off of that. But here's the other thing. Jade looks like a star. She looks like she would beat the shit out of just about anybody on the roster. And so I would think that she could last in the ring longer than 10 minutes, that she shouldn't, like she should be able to wrestle another match because she looks so much more imposing than everyone else. I don't know. This better just be setting her up to go on a world title. You know,
she's taking some time off from what I'm to understand right now.
That's a shame.
Well, I think unless your character resetting, but I'm intrigued to hear what Jeremiah has to say because he's booking a new women's division.
Man, so to start, like I don't hate that idea of her handing off the belt thing. Like that's not a horrible way to get the belt off, oh girl. But like the answer is definitely like it's not Chris Statlander. That's where like my biggest issue with this is like we tried the Statlander project. Like it only works with friends. And I mean that figuratively and literally. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I just don't think like so you just built up an amazing run with a belt, right? It's like it's one of like their best runs with the title. It's big for the women's division. And then it just kind of.
So you just don't like that it went to
Statlander. It's not memorable. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think this is going to make Chris Statlander the star that this kind of win should have did. Like, I don't know.
Would it have been better for Statlander to come out after the match and issue a challenge for Wednesday?
I think so.
And then to do like a week of social media build of this being her return. And having her in a longer match.
Do we have to have it be Statlander? I mean, I know it happened, but like,
yeah,
like,
I mean, who else is it going to be?
I think she's a great athlete. I don't think she's.
I have a reason that I think it should have been Statlander anyway. I think it was Statlander because Statlander is the most logical person to beat Jade, but she's not invincible. So when she inevitably loses the title, it's one of those things that like, okay, she beat Jade after Jade had a really strong match against Taya. So if she's going to lose it, it's not like, okay, you went toe to toe with this just absolutely, you know, indomitable force and beat her because you did that. No, you took a slightly easy route out of it by being opportunistic. So when somebody comes in, and I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know how they're going to do it, whatever they're going to do with the next person to win that belt. Fuck, it could be Billy Starks. We don't know. But it's more believable that somebody like that is going to come in and beat Statlander than they are Jade, even though...
If Billy Starks beat Jade Cargill, the fucking internet would have lost it.
I agree with you, and
but hear me out. Chris Statlander came back. Cool. What was the next match, Ethan?
The next match was the Four Pillars.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I don't think
you're gonna tell like you could tell a story like
Billy Starks would have been a great bro. I would have watched the fuck out of that. That's amazing sounding. Like that's better than Statlander. Like it's one of those. Like I'm not hating on them. Go you! You're killing it. She's really good. Like I want people to understand. Like it's not that I don't think this woman is not talented. She's absolutely talented. It's just there's certain times where like you have certain roles on the card, and like she's not the player that does that move, man. I think that just undid all of the prestige they just put on that title.
This feels like they can try to tell the Miro story again of Miro's neck being the thing that his opponents start to target,
I already heard that
Statlander's blown
story
out,
though.
but I know, but like Statlander's blown out both of her knees. So like if you were worried that Jade was just this indomitable force, then all right, like now you can, I guess now you could just tell the story that like anybody who goes after Statlander is going to go after her knees. But I
That's
don't
not
know.
entertaining. I don't. These
Well,
these are all like what do we do from here things, and none of them are good. Like telling a story that we already seen just in a different gender division isn't good writing. Like I don't know.
Well,
I just this
let's
is why
move
I
on
think AEW is the B show.
Let's move on to the next match, which was, in my opinion, the best match on the card. And that was the 4 Pillars match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Did you guys just get all the steam taken out of you?
I don't have like. So the only part of this match that really stood out is it was very predictable. Like we kind of knew how this match was going to go because of your promos that you had leading up to it. Darby already telegraphed that he's taking some time off. You knew he wasn't going to lose. They're not ready to put any kind of belt on Jungle Boy, so it left the only logical contender as being Sammy. Sammy comes out, does the intro bit, announced with the cue cards, which was a cool little callback. I liked that, especially with the way that they've kind of been, really personalizing him through All Access. We find out that Ty is pregnant. Cool. That explains why she hasn't been on TV, stuff like that. Sammy's got some cool looking gear that it feels like he robbed from Adam Wick. And then, so it goes out there. The only really thing that happened during this match is Max gets on the mic and says, take the money. You got a baby. You're going to need it. You knew he was going to go for a roll up. You knew at some point the diamond ring was going to come out. Like, it was a very predictable match. It was a means to an end. It was a program that had to be there at some point, and they did it now to get it out of the way. So none of those guys had enough steam to go after Max just to get him to his next feud, whatever that is.
I disagree. I believe this match was an homage to all 4 men's mentors that have trained them along the way. At one point, they all busted out their mentors' finishers, which was a cool spot. Everyone got time to shine in this match, regardless as if they were taking time off TV or not. And Max continued the storyline on Darby, where he said he was going to beat him in every match with a headlock takeover, and he pinned Darby with a headlock takeover again. I thought this match was a spectacular fatal 4-way, and will probably go down in history as one of the top, if not the best fatal 4-way in the history of professional wrestling.
Wow.
Really, can you name a better fatal 4-way than this? The next one that comes to mind is the Backlash one, where it was rated RKO, Shawn Michaels, and John Cena. Nope. Yeah, exactly. This match was spectacular, and I loved MJF screaming.
I'll say it was the most recent 4-way. Like I don't know, man. Like give me a side. Like it's the most recent. Like I'm not like a supercomputer. Like I'll get back to you for sure with better 4-ways. Like I don't know, man. So here's the thing. This could potentially have been the greatest 4-way ever had like the build mattered. It wasn't like a rush. It was rushed, man. Like this, I don't feel like this was the time for it. Like it was because we decided to go to the story now. Like this should have been the conclusion of Maxwell's reign, not the middle tail story because we're getting called out for doing the make you fight 7 people to get to me story over and over, which will probably be the next story in the Jacob Friedman line. But we'll get a good skirm afterwards, which is what this whole title reign is.
The skirm was great after this match.
Yeah, but like half the shitty, like he said, the greatest, what was it? The greatest dog collar match ever. He said, like I was, it's like
Iron Man match ever.
You're just in the most recent of those ever. Like I don't know, man. It's a lot of extra.
Wrong. He's not wrong though, because like he said he's in the best single dog collar match ever because he's the best one is FTR versus Briscoes. That's the best dog collar match ever. I watched all of them. The next closest one to me outside of that one and the CM Punk MJF one is the Cody Brody one.
I'll tell you what, Clint loves recency bias.
He does.
No.
Recency bias is his middle name, just like 4-ply was mine when I got on here tonight.
No,
best-
like ask
the
me
best,
my
like-
favorite ladder match of all time. Go ahead.
What's your favorite ladder match of all time?
Jeff Hardy versus The Undertaker.
It's not that long ago.
It's 20 years
super
ago.
long ago.
It's
20 years.
21
isn't that long. 21. That's not that
20
long.
years is long. That's
That's
like,
not that long.
listen, you're gonna say Tupac's
Jeff
the
Hardy's
greatest
still
wrestler alive,
wrestling,
Russ,
and
you're
you
gonna
know.
undo
Up
all
until the
your credibility.
MJF Bryan Danielson one, my favorite Iron Man match was Lesnar and Angle from SmackDown.
Bro, is that the one where he beat the shit out of him with the chair?
Yeah, to give him up
Yeah,
2 victories.
Bro, that's the greatest one ever because that was the most logical play ever. It's like, oh yeah, I'll eat an L real quick and now I'll win.
Yeah,
That
I
was
was
my
gonna say, Reed just brought it up, and I didn't want to interrupt anybody, but Piper Valentine dog collar match.
They're the ones that put it on the map. Like that's why CM Punk even said, "Will you be my Valentine?"
Well, CM Punk and Raven were so fucking good too. They
That
had
was a
one.
good
Oh, who
one.
was it? Junkyard Dog and escaping me right now. But I'm not saying that one's not good. I thought Cody and Brody Lee was better than MJF and Punk.
Wow.
Like I don't know, man, and like I don't know. I'm not trying to be an AEW hater, but like I had a good conversation with a buddy on my vacation, and like he shattered a lot of glass for me.
Okay.
Did you see how filled that arena was with $4 tickets?
Yep.
The $4 tickets thing wasn't real, and it was a
was real.
section of the arena.
It can't be a section of the arena if it's not real, Russ. Which is it?
I'm saying it wasn't a section of the arena that was empty.
Oh, no, that was totally seating, man. Like they just move people. They do that all the time.
The hard cam side.
People sit there, bro. Like you sell out an arena. Like
So
if
so
something
when
is sold out,
Becky hold
you
on, so
make more
when Becky and Bianca were at SummerSlam and the entire side of the arena or the stadium was left tarped, were people sitting there too?
no, that was tarped off, and that was a bad performance. But like WWE, bro, everybody has a bad show, but like when it's consistently happening and it's not sellouts, like that says something. I don't know, man.
They
I get
sold
it.
3,000 less
Everybody's-
tickets than they did a year ago. They sold out, I think, just about 14,000 something within an hour.
Which I
Because
really
the product
think.
the product was hotter last year.
Well, I think that goes down to
they sold like
something-
11,000 this year.
Russ, I think
What?
that goes down to something we brought up in our group chat too, is that they're burning out certain cities. They're always running Vegas. They're always running Chicago. They're always running Florida. Like
Lazy.
that's the thing here. It's just like we expect that there's at least going to be 2 pay-per-views a year that happen in Chicago.
Yep.
Like they're
Which is they
Dog,
they
the
rely
set-
too heavily on it, and like they yet Philly is a great wrestling town. They have only run shows at Temple University. All right, to give some context, Temple's a fucking dangerous place. Philly's not a very good safety city, we'll say, right?
Mhm.
What?
Temple is a particularly bad place to walk around. There's an entire sports complex. All right. Wells Fargo Center has plenty of parking, has plenty of seating. You can get creative with how you're going to fill it. But like, given its location, given its vicinity to like Jersey, which also has a ton of wrestling fans, given how easy of a ride it is down from New York, you would sell out Wells Fargo Center if you put together a good enough card. So just run it. Like, what are you doing? Going back to Vegas because it's called Double or Nothing is stupid. You want to be really catchy? I don't know. Go to Atlantic City. Do Double or Nothing in AC. It would be a logistical nightmare, but you can try. You don't only have to go to Vegas for Double or Nothing. You're right. It's a burning out of the market because they go back too often. But it also doesn't help that you're doing it on a holiday weekend, which I still don't understand. Why are you doing this on Memorial Day weekend? It's unnecessary. I don't know. The match was good. I thought the match was really good. I thought the build for it was stupid. And I still will stand firmly by the fact that, like, the crowd told you 3 weeks ago what they wanted. It was MJF versus Darby. That was it. There was no need to make this a work rate 4-way match. If you wanted a work rate 4-way match, you should have done it a year ago for the TNT title. Or you should have done it when you created the international title and put that on MJF first. And then let the other guys, the quote unquote pillars, let them go after that title. it made more sense as an undercard or a mid-card matchup for like one of the 17 secondary titles than it did with the top belt. Nobody thinks Jungle Boy is ready to be a main eventer.
All right.
Speaking of main events,
Well, no.
Yeah,
What the fuck am I getting cut? Like what? No.
No.
We tend to stay on a certain subject for too long. And,
It's the fucking world championship, man.
and we've been on it. We've already said the build was shit and the match was great, and that you're going on about titles now. That's deriving from this right now.
Oh, I just said Jungle Boy's not ready to be a main eventer.
Okay.
Is Sammy a main eventer?
We're gonna move on to the main
closer,
event.
He's closer to it than Jungle Boy is, and he's more visible than Darby is.
We're gonna move on to the main event now, which was Anarchy in the Arena 2. Which I loved. I thought it was stupid fun.
It was better than the last one.
Well, yeah, because Danielson's not out with an injury after this one, which I like I said in the chat, I think Russ will agree with me. Danielson was very well protected in that match.
He was.
My biggest issue is that fucking band continuing to play. And I get it that there was the spot to kick the lead singer and that shit. But I can't sit there. It distracts me from it. Because I don't want to hear Wild Thing for 9 minutes.
No, I was like, it was cute last year, but this year it was dumb.
But at least last year it was just a recording of it, not the actual band doing it over and over again.
Yeah, like the band acknowledging that they're doing this. But
Yeah.
the spots were good. They were well planned out. You left the really fucking bad spots, I assume, to Moxley and Omega in that match. And Hangman. Hangman took a lot of really bad spots.
I don't know.
But the surprise from Tenoshi Takesha coming in, hitting the flying knee, and then fucking Yuta stabbing Omega in the face with a screwdriver and him pinning Omega was a shock.
It was. Who liked the exploding shoe?
Didn't have a problem with it. It is what it is.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
I didn't have a problem with it either.
It made no sense to me.
Fuck.
Came out of nowhere. It was like an RKO, but less entertaining.
Well, here's what I'll say about it is if the spot before didn't happen, I would have hated it. Because the spot before was I think it was Hangman booting Moxley in the face and Moxley not giving an inch on his Boston Crab or whatever it was, and him just screaming fuck you back until someone else came and took him out. And then they were just like, Sparks.
I could just do without thumbtacks.
Man,
Thumbtacks aren't bad.
that kick made no sense. I'm sorry. No, that's stuff we would do on our level, right? Like, you know what I mean? On the indie level to like, it made no sense, man. It's a $1 million company just randomly putting sparklers on a shoe.
2 weeks, was it 2 weeks ago when you were on the show, you said AEW is just an indie show that's really well funded.
It is, and that's the problem though, because you're supposed to be $1 million company, not a indie show that's well funded. That's my issue with this company right now. Is you're supposed to be a place I strive to, not a place that I work at already.
This is exactly it, though. If it's on BTE, if that's the only way that you're going to go and explain it, then you have to put that on television. You can't just allow that to be.
That clip. That makes no sense. Like, you can't expect people to follow your YouTube show.
Except they do. It's what these guys
they
do.
all don't though.
But
I don't.
That's what their expectation is, though. That's why the chasm that exists between the elite fans and the punk fans is going to continue to grow. And why, like, the ratings +3 or whatever, where you're taking into account DVR instead of the live viewers, is going to be so interesting for the first few months of Dynamite and Collision. Because, like, the spot itself, the spot itself was interesting. I don't know if it belonged, and it certainly didn't like shift the tide of the match. So in that case, like it feels dumb. But like this match has jumped the shark. Like this match, while fun, the playing of the music was hearkening back to last year's because the audio track got stuck or whatever, right? Like, and they thought it'd be funny to do it as a live thing and then just have the main singer get kicked out, right?
Oh,
But like,
I guess the boot was reminiscent of the failed barbed wire exploding match. It's still
That's kinda what it
stupid. I
felt
stand by that.
like, but like, I don't know. This match, it didn't. I don't know. Was there anything that we saw in this match that we hadn't previously seen in a Stadium Stampede or last year's Anarchy in the Arena match? There was a pile driver in the back of a pickup truck that Moxley did to one of the Bucks. Was there anything else?
Claudio, not
spinning-
Carlito.
Claudio, sorry.
Claudio doing the big swing, but like he does that anyway.
Yeah, I think importantly, this is the biggest problem with some of these matches is you have this big grandiose thing, and it's setting up for the next thing because the blow off hasn't come yet, and it feels like it should have come already with BCC and the Elite. So now it sets up to this big thing, and as our title card kind of alluded to, we have somebody who is an absolute heat magnet in Don Callis because he is structured to bring Konosuke Takeshita into either the Blackpool Combat Club or as kind of an outlier member of the Blackpool Combat Club, as we saw at the end of this match, which I think is probably the best thing that happened in the match because we know where it's leading. Like Clint and I kind of looked at each other and said, okay, so if it's going to go to Blood and Guts, the Elite's going to get Ibushi. Like they're going to go get Ibushi.
They might get Okada as well.
I said Okada.
I think either one of those are your best options in the regards to name power from New Japan.
I think though Ibushi would be more prone to do something like a Blood and Guts than Okada's going to be. Okada doesn't really fuck with matches like that. You never see him wrestling.
That's why that's the bigger draw is Okada.
If Okada came out for a Blood and Guts match, that would pop. That'd pop me hard.
You don't actually have to bleed in a Blood and Guts match. There's 9 other people.
He would be the last one in, too.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's 9 other people. Like, if all 10 of you bleed, I mean...
I think it would be fucking hot to see Okada just come out in, like, fucking jeans and just, like, a fucking Okada tank top and just get ready for a death match. I don't know.
No, I think Okada's going to wear nice white satin pants. Right, like he's gonna dress like the Money Dog, and then he's gonna get covered in other people's blood. So it'll look.
He should
like
come out dressed like Andrew WK in the Party Hard music video.
There's a way that they could take this that would be a lot of fun. So Callis said that he's going to create his own family, which makes it sound like it's not the BCC,
right?
Because by now you would have revealed that. So you could play the game of. When was Punk kind of at his best in WWE? Can make the argument that it was when he had Paul Heyman with him. Callis is kind of trying to do a Paul Heyman-esque character. So why not have Takeshita and a couple of other people who are handpicked by Punk lead to the reveal at Collision that Callis and his new family are aligned with Punk, and you can continue to have the lead to Blood and Guts where you bring in an Ibushi or you bring in an Okada or whoever, and you feel like it's over because it's the BCC and the Elite, but in fact, no, because you've got this new Punk faction. This all comes back to like whether or not everybody's mature enough to work together. But like you could continue the story. Well, I don't think they are either, but I'm saying like you can continue the story. Like you could certainly continue the story of wiping the Elite. The really fun thing would be if Punk and Callis teamed up and eventually Kenny saw the error of his ways, that he's gone goofy with the Bucks, and Kenny turns on the Bucks and aligns with Punk, which would be the craziest shit ever. It won't happen, but it would be a lot of fun.
I think Kenny's the one that's willing to work with everybody. I think it just seems like that he's a businessman. is what it seems like.
It's been a year.
Well, no, I'm just saying in general,
I
general,
know, but
through
it's
everything
we've been
beyond just this circumstance.
I know, but
he's a fucking businessman.
This is my problem with Punk, is that we've been talking about this shit for a year.
And that's why Punk's such a megastar, because we've been talking about this shit for a year.
And I can't stand his backstage drama, politicking bullshit the same way as I can't stand the Bucks or Omega doing it.
Hold on. So the guy who is responsible for the most profitable year in AEW history doesn't, from what I understand, dog, like I watched the Skirm. Everybody did their research into it, because that's what you do when you hear about big drama like that. Fucking, so I don't know, man. My guy didn't really air stuff. Like, he didn't really go out of he didn't hit up like TMZ. He was put into a public space to air any grievances my man was having. And he had some very good ones to gripe. Like, hey, yes, it's wrestling. It's a physical combat sport, but it's also, you know what I mean? It's entertainment. There is a bit of play here where we know what we're doing. You know what I mean? And like, for the Hangman shit to go off there, for the Bucks, who are supposed to be high level positions in a business,
bingo,
to start shitting on a new guy because he's outdrawing them, instead of trying to when he makes money, we all make money attitude, which is how this business flourishes. I don't know. Yeah, I guess he's the asshole. I guess he's the bad guy.
Those guys have hold on. Those guys have no fucking business acumen. That's the truth. Like, everybody can like kind of dance around it, and like everybody can kind of make it seem like if they like, remember, before the trios titles became a thing, the Bucks held the AEW tag team titles. They could have done business with FTR, who were in the best run of any tag team in probably a decade, or in the midst of holding 3 titles from 3 companies simultaneously. And they could have done the Bucks versus FTR 3. They could have put all the belts on FTR and then led to the trios division. And instead, those guys dropped the belts and went off and created these bullshit titles that also, coming back to an earlier point, drastically hurt the tag team division, and also created a weird mix of trios division that like still hasn't gotten fully fleshed out. So like, they screwed up there, because if you're EVPs and you're trying to do the best business, Bucks versus FTR was what was best for business at the moment, not a bullshit trios tournament. And like, now it does seem like Kenny is the guy who's willing to do something. And like, Kenny, for as flawed as some people might think he is, because the promos are weird, like, he's the best performer or the best credible wrestler of the 3 between him and the Bucks. And like, if he's the one who's willing to do what's best for business, then he's also the best of the EVPs. And if you're Tony Khan and you have 2 guys who refuse to do work and refuse to do what is by far the biggest money angle this side of the bloodline, and they won't do it, then send them home and let them collect their paycheck, let them rot until the deals are up, because they are working in direct opposition of what your company, what's best for business.
I think that Kenny is the hinge that all this hinges on, because he's the reason that this Don Callis and Kaneste Takeshita bit is going to happen. The family bit that they're setting up for has potential to be really cool and really eye-opening for a North American audience to look at the Japanese market. But it hinges a lot on Kenny, because he's the one that has those... He has those business connections in New Japan. He's the guy that spent all the time over there. He's the guy that put that in. He bridges that gap. And so if this is where you're finally using Kenny Omega to bridge that gap and bring star power over, as long as you do the right thing and give us a vignette as to why he's bringing this guy over, why these people are important. Don't continue to pull the same, hey, here's this guy. And of course, Excalibur's excited about it because the guy wrestled in PWG and Bola in 2012 or whatever. I'm like, cool, go watch that stuff. But I need, like, give me a 2-minute video package as to why it happened. And it doesn't have to be when the guy appears. But if you give it to me just like the next week, or you give it to me after that, or something like that, that's what I need. That's what I need for it.
Yeah.
So,
Is there anybody in the world who legitimately looks at Kenny and says, I like Kenny better as an in-ring performer when he is associated in a trio with the Bucks, more so than when Kenny is on his own?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
there are people. There are.
Yeah.
They knew that the boot was going to be loaded with fireworks because they watch Being the Elite, Russ, religiously. They do, man. They have that market. Like, you know they do.
I just don't get it. Like, I just don't get why you would like Kenny as a trio better than Kenny individually.
Bro, so like I don't know where Clint went, like, and I feel bad if he's upset, but Tony Khan, right, one day was doing whatever illicit things Tony Khan does because that man has a lot of energy, right? And he was like, man, I want to start a wrestling company. So he started hitting up a bunch of big name people at the time, right? And like they all work in the WWE, so they couldn't do anything. And then he was like, man, who are my favorite indie guys? And then he hit them up and they were like, you got how much? Oh, the Jacksonville Jaguar. Okay, yeah, man, let's start a wrestling company. And then they tried to make themselves the biggest stars in the company. After doing the first year of going, we aren't going to be the biggest stars in the company, while still slowly pushing themselves to be the biggest stars in the company. But instead, it's created some bigger stars than them, but their star power has really done nothing but bring those loyal t-shirt buyers in, and that's about it. And like, if that's my hill to die on, I die on it, man. But it's
right.
I don't feel like AEW has been profitable. You know, like they got some deals that have kept them afloat, like a video game deal, but like I don't think they as a company have netted more money than what has gone into it 4 years ago.
The counter, though, is like, it doesn't matter. It's not your money. It's not my money. It's not the fans' money. It's the same thing as saying, like, I can't believe this team paid X for, you know, a mid-tier player. Like, what a waste of money. A horrible way to spend money. It's not your money. You know, like, so,
but
I mean,
I was going to say, this does all lead into, you know, obviously the build that's coming up for Forbidden Door. And I'm excited to see where it goes. Callis is a fucking heat bagged it. That crowd was deafening. Like, that crowd is the crowd that we should have had at Double or Nothing. Truthfully, that was the energy, that level that you were looking for out of somebody, and they fucking hate him. And it was a very enjoyable segment for me. Any final words on the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, gentlemen?
Not on the pay-per-view, but I have a question for the group. Because I want to get Russ's opinion on this, because like I like Russ's opinions. Like, even if they differ from mine, they come out of a place of research and knowledge. So I do like them. Do you feel all right? So the only reason AEW can even like be considered like the number 2, like, oh, we're bringing this fight to the WWE, is because they as a company can do that on their own, or is it because they have to bring in this forbidden door aspect to drive people's interest in it? And it's still not enough to literally compete with the monster, but it's enough to go, hey, look, we're doing it. Because I don't think, like, without like this New Japan mix, like, it's AEW versus WWE, it's the rest of them versus WWE.
So is your question why AEW is like able to establish itself as number 2?
No. I'm saying, do you think they would be able to, like, you know how like they're number 2, right? Like they don't say they're number 2 because who would openly say that? But like they're the number 2 company in America. But that's only like my opinion.
Well, it's because of the TV rights. It's because they're the most easily accessible promotion outside of WWE. And a lot of that might have come down to the fact that, like, all right, like any TV network is going to want to know that whoever owns the programming or owns the IP has the money to back up their talk. Like, if you listen to Jeff Jarrett's podcast and they talk about like the initial days of TNA and when they eventually started getting investors on board, knowing that Jarrett was putting his own money in and his dad was putting his own money in, that's what in a lot of ways got them the investor money that eventually led to the Carters and eventually led to the TV deal. So like the con money is a big part of it, but I think it's really the TV thing. I think that at some point, maybe it's just like, maybe we have to.
I figured out how to word my
We have
question.
to set expectations. Like, we have to do a readjustment, because they initially were going
I'm
head to
dipping
head.
out, guys. Have a good night.
Okay. They initially were going head to head with NXT, or NXT like moved to go head to head, and like it felt like we were like the Monday Night Wars were back. But realistically, like, one is a $9 billion, as dictated by the market, a $9 billion behemoth with a decades long lead. You're not going head to head. So perhaps we need to kind of, like, I don't know, like, reset the expectations on what AEW is. Enjoy it more for what it is. Don't be worried about, who's getting paid what, or if it's turning a profit.
That's
Like, just
exactly
enjoy just enjoy the show for what it is, and it's going to be flawed. And I watch it every week, and I still enjoy it, even though there are things where I go like, this is maddening. This doesn't make sense. But I still enjoy it. I still enjoy it more often than not than the WWE product, because I don't think I need super, super polished and PG and,
Well, that's what it is.
piped-in
You
crowd
have
noise.
something as an alternative to something else. I'm not saying that everything has to be tier A, tier B, anything like that. It's a different product, and there's room to enjoy both of the products at the same time. You can like both of them. There's not an issue with that. And that's the beautiful thing that we have with, like, independent wrestling as well. I like For Us Wrestling. I also like other wrestling promotions, which is something I do want to touch on as we're running out of time now, gentlemen. I do want to touch on a couple of things that we have coming up. One of them, we're just popping this up here real quick. It's Oops All Bangers 2. It's happening July 7th from the Folding Warehouse in Ipsy. This gentleman below us is putting that on, and it's going to be a fantastic show with the Best Friends Forever ladder match is a high point in that match. So, Jeremiah, is there anything else that you have to say before I drop you out here? And then I'll give Russ a moment, and then I think Trevor and I are going to close the show.
Oh, damn. We're getting booted, Russ. I didn't know.
We have speed.
Golden day.
You got anything that you want to talk about here?
Oh,
Jeremiah?
man. No, come out July 7th. It's going to be all bangers. We're going to have a bunch of vendors, a bunch of retail going on there, food provided by Lane's Pizza, we're Mint Cannabis. We're in talks with them. It's going to be one hell of a show. Folding Warehouse out in Ipsy, July 7th. That's about it.
It'll be on all of our. Yep, it'll be on all of our socials, and we will see you in a couple of weeks, sir. Have a great one.
See you in the reboot.
Russ from It's Just Wrestling.
That's me.
You got anything tonight, sir?
I think I'm gonna do. I'll probably do a stream tomorrow. I think I might do a stream for It's Just Wrestling at noon on Friday, noon Eastern, to kind of break down this week's Dynamite and a little bit of Double or Nothing, and go from there. So, I enjoyed this chat today, tonight.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Dive into this a little bit more, and I don't know, maybe give some flowers to Don Callis this week.
Yeah,
great guy. Great guy.
Thank you for joining us this evening, Russ. We greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Much love, guys.
Thank you. All right. Big T. I'm gonna give you the left side of the screen here. You and I, we've got something coming up this weekend. Clint's involved in this as well. We do have a live broadcast coming. This is our last show before we hit the hiatus. We will be at Metro Pro Wrestling at Kudos Tap Room and Fieldhouse in Taylor, Michigan. The main event of this show is Jason Hotch versus Tommy Vendetta. Two guys that should be on. One is on television. The other one should be on television more frequently. Trevor, as the resident sound guy here, is there anything you're super excited for about this matchup this weekend?
It's going to be that final match. It's going to be Jason versus Tommy. I mean,
you excited to not pick glass out of your equipment this week?
Oh, I'm excited that I don't even have to go near a damn fluorescent light bulb forever as long as I live. Because I'm still getting that stuff out of my stuff.
So, well, you know what, man? It's not usual that it's just you and me here at the end of the show. So, is there anything, man, you want to say after the first couple of years? I know it's been a minute since you've been on screen. Is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to talk about to the people?
that I can't wait for the reboot.
I think it's going to be fun.
I want to see what's going to happen. It's going to be a little bit of a change not hearing Maven's theme anymore.
It's going to be a little different. It is going to be a little different. Well, Trev, I want to thank you for all of your contributions that you've brought to us. The live broadcasts that we do, they are impeccably better since you've been more involved in them. And, we can't thank you enough. The viewers like it. As people that put on the show, it's awesome. And your input is invaluable, sir. So with that said, I'm Ethan. You can find me at Jensen Collins 3. This is Trev. You can find him at Nightmare Cuda on everything.
Nope. It's DJ T Rev 24.
Oh, DJ T Rev 24. All right. Well, the last thing I have is I made a little thing for us to dip out, and so we're gonna throw this up on the screen, and we're gonna say we love you, Judy.